Welcome to the Things Network webinar series. My name is Johan Stocking. I am tech lead of the Things Network and CTO of the Things Industries. And this webinar is about deployment scenarios. If you have any questions, please ask them on the forum. The link is in the chat, and I'll be answering the questions right after this webinar. Today, I'm going to talk about the different deployment models. So public networks and private networks. Also about the Things Network technology and how we cover the needs for these different networks. I give an overview of the deployment models and also how they are supported by version 3 and our commercial offerings. And finally, I'm going to cover peering and roaming as well as example pricing. So the first type of networks is a public network. And a public network is defined by using shared gateways. There are two types of public networks. First, the operator network, which uses gateways that are placed on cell towers. They often have a centralized network server, and they are operated in a single region. So, for example, a country or a city. And very often, the business model is that customers pay per message. And examples of an operator network is KPN, Bouygues Telecom, SK Telecom, and Comcast. The second type of public network is a collaborative network. And here gateways are placed as needed. There's a centralized or a decentralized network server, and it's often a multi-region deployment. And the best example of a collaborative network is obviously the Things Network Public Community Network. The Things Network Public Community Network is free to use. There is no business model, and it's operated by non-profit foundations. The Things Industries is a commercial entity, and it contributes code and expertise to the Things Network ecosystem. The second type of networks are private networks. And private networks come in different flavors. First, there are hosted networks, and these are multi-tenant, multi-region network servers. Second, private cloud, and these are lounges for Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, and other cloud providers. Third, the images and binaries can be used to install the network server on any infrastructure by using virtual machine images, Docker images, Kubernetes setup, but you can also run the binary directly on the gateway. Finally, for development, it's really useful to run the entire LoRaWAN stack on your developer machine. And by using the Things Network LoRaWAN stack v3, which is open source, soon available on GitHub, you can run the entire stack on your laptop, and this is really useful for developing in a controlled environment. Apart from network servers, LoRaWAN also defines joint servers. The Things Network Stack v3 includes a joint server, but it can also communicate with external joint servers. Since the beginning of the Things Network, the use of our technology changed a little bit over time. At first, we really built the technology to empower the public community network, but we saw an increasing demand from customers to also use the technology for private networks. So v3 is really designed for not only running the public community network, but also hosted private cloud, images, and LoRaWAN development. So let's look at an overview of the different deployment models and the functionality. Private gateways means gateways that are connected to a particular private network. Multi-tenant means that you can separate applications, users, and gateways on the same infrastructure. Multi-region means that the network is deployed in different clusters around the world, and this can be very useful to reduce the latency. Autoscaling means that the infrastructure scales up and down automatically based on the load. FOTA is the firmware update technology to send updates to the end devices. SLA is a service license agreement, and support is our support and consultancy provided through the Things Industries. So the Things Network v3 public community network is a multi-region deployment that also scales automatically. The Things Industries v3 SaaS is really our flagship offering that supports private networks. It's multi-tenant, multi-region, scales automatically, supports FOTA, as well as an SLA and support. The Things Industries v3 private cloud and images give you more control. Also support private networks, multi-tenant is multi-region, also supports FOTA as well as our support. And finally, for LoRaWAN development, you can get the LoRaWAN stack from GitHub, install it locally on your laptop and connect your private gateway to it to have a complete controlled environment for R&D. And this way you can test your solution. And what's also really useful of this entire offering is that v3 uses the same API across all deployment models. And this means that once you have your application designed for the Things Network Stack v3, it works with any of these deployments. There are two ways to exchange traffic between networks, roaming and peering. Roaming is defined by the LoRa Alliance, and it assumes roaming contracts between networks. There are two ways of roaming, passive roaming and handover roaming. In passive roaming, the forwarding network server forwards traffic to the serving network server. The benefit of this is that it's transparent for end devices and that it works with any LoRaWAN version. The downside is that there has to be a roaming session set up for each end device. And this is ideal for private-to-private and private-public roaming. Handover roaming is where a serving network server serves the device on behalf of the home network server. The benefit of this is that the radio parameters can be defined by the serving network server. And the downside is that you need an explicit handover from one network to the other network, and that you need LoRaWAN 1.1. Handover roaming is ideal for public-to-public roaming, so end devices that go from one country to the other. The Things Network Stack will support only passive roaming for now. If you want to know more about roaming, you can read the specification in the LoRaWAN backend interfaces 1.0 document. Peering is packet-based exchange of traffic between networks. The benefit of this is that it's completely transparent to the end device. Also, it supports any LoRaWAN version. Finally, there's no need to start and stop sessions like you need with passive roaming. The downside is that peering only works within the Things Network ecosystem, but the Things Network also provides a bridge from peering to passive roaming with other networks. So the Things Network Peering Broker is a smart PubSub for networks that are powered by the Things Network Stack. To exchange traffic with other networks, the Things Network Peering Broker is also a roaming hub, supporting the passive roaming specification of the LoRa Alliance. Private networks can define their own rules to exchange traffic with each other. So they can choose to keep a balance, but they can also choose to pay each other for their coverage. Peering with the public community network is also possible, but this requires that the private network also contributes back to the public community network. Also, private networks will pay a fee for address space and routing. The pricing is still to be defined, but the goal is to cover the costs of the foundations and the associations that are involved in the Things network. So how does peering work? Network servers use a NetID, and a NetID is issued by the LoRa Alliance based on the membership level. As a contributor member of the LoRa Alliance, the Things network has a Type 0 NetID. Private networks can use a small block of the Things network NetID, but they can also use their own NetID when they become a member of the LoRa Alliance. Network servers, so private networks or public networks, they issue device addresses, and the first bits of a device address are defined by the NetID. In the Things network, we use device addresses starting with 2.6 for the public community network and 2.7 for private networks. If you use your own NetID for a private network, then your device address also starts differently. The Things Network Peering Broker uses these device addresses to route traffic based just on their device address to the right cluster. So summarizing, LoRaWAN is really powerful. You can use it on public networks and private networks. operator networks or collaborative public networks, as well as hosted private cloud images and development for private networks. All these private networks offerings are provided by the Things Industries. Roaming and peering allow for exchange of traffic, and passive roaming and peering is also supported within the Things Network ecosystem and powered by technology of the Things Industries. The cost driver of the Things Industries SaaS, private cloud and images is the number of connected end devices. This means that you can connect an unlimited amount of gateways and route an unlimited amount of messages using this private network offering. There's a volume discount on the bundles of devices. The bundles are 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 and 1 million in devices. You can stack these bundles to match the number of devices of your deployment. The pricing goes from €1.80 per device per year for small scale deployments up to 1,000 devices, down to 24 cents per device per year for large scale deployments. This includes a service level agreement. The Things Industries also offers support and consultancy. Are you interested in running a private LoRaWAN stack? Please send me a message, johan@thetingsindustries.com. If you have any questions, please ask them on the forum. I'll be addressing them right after this webinar. Thanks very much for watching.